Hey guys, my name is Patrick Edwards. I'm in San Antonio, Texas. The name of my business is M for Auto Restoration. I don't know if you can read that. So yeah, that's what we do. We got a little Porsche here, a little Skyline, a little S550. What's over there? Mini Cooper. We do a lot of collision. We do all kinds of weird stuff here, man. A little Defender 110 there. Fiat. We're about to paint this little Jeep over here. We got an International Scout where we're doing a lot of the metal work and paint work on that. So yeah, we do a lot of cool stuff here, and I just wanted to show you guys at least how to do headliners, or what we do to do headliners. A lot of people are afraid to tackle this job, and it can be a little stressful, a little daunting, but I think anybody that has the will and has some sort of mechanical know-how can do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So this is a headliner from a 2010 Volkswagen Golf GTI. Basically, we pulled it out of the car. It's kind of self-explanatory, I guess. You can probably find a YouTube video on how to pull it out, but I mean, you just take your handles off and little clips, B pillars and A pillars, all that stuff. Anyway, you get it out, clean it off. You clean all the crap off. Let me show you. This is the old headliner right here. So that's the material. Okay, that's what mostly everybody has in their car. And you see all this yellow stuff? That's actually just it's not the glue that fails. It's the foam, because this headliner is actually a foam-backed material. This foam is actually gray. So what happens is, over time, the foam will deteriorate and then eventually fall down. So what you have to do is strip it off. It should just come right off, and then clean the whole surface. I like to use. Sometimes we can use the brushes like a bristle brush, like a scrubbing brush. I like to use these little guys. These work pretty well. I don't recommend using any kind of like metal wire brush or anything. That'll just create issues like here. It can puncture holes in your headliner, especially if it's an old car. So what I think we got to do is show you guys exactly how we lay it down, what kind of glue we use, and show you the whole process, and make it easy enough so everybody can tackle it if they want to do it. What I recommend is, for this type of job, we charge about $350 to $400 depending on the vehicle, obviously. With a sunroof, we charge a little bit more. If we have to redo the sunroof shade, we have to charge a little bit more. If you pull this headliner out and maybe the upholstery side of it is too much for you, what you can do is you can take it to an upholstery shop, and I don't see them charging you more than $100-150. It also depends on the type of vehicle, the type of material, and then you can reinstall it yourself. So that's something you can do, something that maybe you don't have $350 lying around to do your headliner. That's an easy way to save a couple $100. Is just pull it out yourself, take it to the upholstery shop, just like this. You can clean it off for them too. You might want to clean it off mainly because that crap's going to get all over the inside of your car. So anyway, let's get to the gluing part. All right, so we have all the glue laid down, nice and even. I like to stick a little bit extra in here in these little grab handle pockets. You see, we sprayed that area, this area, both sides. Hence, contact adhesive. It's got to make contact with each other to work, with itself, I should say. So the next thing you're going to need is to flip it over and glue it down. Now this is where you can really fail, and this is the part that you have to take your time. Contact adhesive, you can let it sit, oh geez, no more than 10-15 minutes, really depending on the weather. If it's really hot outside, it's gonna sit a little bit quicker than if it's cold outside. But what you want is to be able to put your hand on there and not be sticky. All right, You want to feel like it's dry. When you pull your hand off, there's nothing on there. A lot of people rush into it feeling, oh no, it's drying. No, it's not going to stick. Well, contact adhesive works this way. It bonds to itself. So it needs to be a little bit dry. If you get it too wet, or if you get a clump of it, wipe it off, because it's going to take forever to dry. And then you're going to actually seep through your material, and then you're going to have a big stain. So let's lay it over here. See if I can do this with one hand. Okay. So it's not going to stick to the headliner until you actually put some pressure on it. So there you go. That's basically what it's going to look like. You're going to need some razor blades, and that's probably the half of the razor blades we're going to be using, because this stuff will dull a razor blade like nothing else. So what I like to do is let's give it a little bit of a stretch, just kind of on the edges, let it stick a little bit. You don't want to push down on it. You just want to kind of give it some tension here. Okay. So from the inside out, you want to lay the material. You don't want to start from the outside and then have a bubble or something in the middle, a crease, and then you got to start all over. So without a whole lot of pressure, put your hand down, flat palm. Just let the glue stick to itself, okay? We're gonna get a crease here until we pull it over the other way and stretch it. The other way of doing that is actually putting like a tube, a cardboard tube or something in there to keep it from creasing, but we can pull that out and stretch it. Okay, from the middle out. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I'll get back to you right now. Okay, half the headliner's down, flip it back over on itself. Show you what that looks like there. Okay, see right here, all nice and tucked in. Now remember, you got to cut the holes out, and then let's say your material or it doesn't look perfect. Like this is part of the cutout. You put your grab handle in there, and most of the time, if you don't cut your hole too big, if you don't make it huge, you can use that grab handle to keep it up for you. So. A lot of people like using the back of their hand. My hands are actually kind of dirty today, because I've been doing actual work in the shop. But you want to have your hands clean. This is what we call a weaved material. Let's see if I can get it to focus. See how it's got kind of a weird weaved texture? That's the new style material they're using on vehicles. I think 2000 maybe 5. I think is when I started using them. There's another material that's the older style material that gets really like fuzzy, and that stuff works great too. The problem is it gets dirty, and you try to clean it, then it gets really even more fuzzy. So what I used to do, or what I tried doing one time, was actually, let me hold the camera up here, use gloves. These giant freaking man hands. The problem with gloves is since the latex, I guess the rubber part of it was creating more of an issue with laying out the material than I liked. It really started kind of making it really fuzzy, and it just kind of grabbed onto that cloth and made it look worse. So I don't use any gloves. Just wash your hands, and you should. Okay, so we're laying it down on the other side, and I wanted to show you something. So let's say we're doing this, and get a crease. Let me see if I can make a crease. Oh shoot, man, I got a crease in it. Hey man, not a problem. This is what you do. This stuff lets you pull it right back up. Let's see here. Get a hold of it. Pull it back up. Give it a little bit of a stretch, and lay it down, and you're good. Okay. So once you're laying this stuff down, it's pretty forgiving. I wouldn't. I wouldn't try to put a crease in it on purpose, but if you can, just you can pull it up and stretch it. Now, here's a big one. You have a sunroof. Kind of see the L in here. You got a sunroof in your car, and you have a little cubby in the front, and there's quite a bit of a kind of a curvature there for your sunglass holder or whatever you. That's a pain in the butt. You can't really pull and tug. So what I do is I take one of my razor blades. Now, make sure you leave enough room. I usually kind of go out from the edge, 6 to 8 inches. Okay, and just cut it. Release the tension in there, and now you're gonna be able to grab it and pull it. Now, every material is different. Black actually has really good stretchability, but grays and tans, though they're really stretchy, not as well as black, or in this case, ebony. So you can pull from here if you need to, if you mess up, and you'll be all right. So let me free my hand here, and I'll get right back to it, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yay, we did it! Okay, that's it right there. That's what you're looking for. Usually around these areas, I like to run my finger, make sure it's nice and clean. That is the biggest pain in the butt sometimes right here. It's just stretching that over that hump. And there are some vehicles that are even taller, especially here where it comes to the sunroof. Man, it is a pain in the butt. But with a little bit of practice and a little bit of luck, you'll be okay. So I like to leave a little bit of extra material here around this trim area, as long as it doesn't block any trim holes, any screw holes, anything like that clips in. You can always put it in the car, and then when you're putting your trim back on, if you got to trim it a little bit, you can. You know, it's always better to have extra material than not enough. So, you know, you'll see these little around the edges is still nasty because we're gonna flip it over and stretch all this around, so it's perfect. So this is what you want right now. You want to just have it nice and clean on the top. If you got any bubbles coming up, put your hand over it, put it down. This stuff works pretty well. Now let's say you get a bubble tomorrow, or something happens where it's in the car and all of a sudden you see you missed a little bubble here, or you get a little bubble back there or something. What you can do is, the glue is actually, you can reactivate the glue with heat. Not a heat gun, but you're gonna need a steamer. And the steam can actually go through the material onto the glue, reactivate the glue, give it a minute, and you should be able to stick it back in. Now, if you don't have enough glue in that place, in that area, then you're kind of SOL on that end. So what I'm gonna do now, flip it over, and we're gonna trim it and glue the other side. Quick tip here, we're using, where is it? There we go, we're using that. Now, you can, if you don't have that and you don't want to invest, they have them in a gallon, but they're still expensive. If you don't want to invest, or you don't have a compressor, we have a little 15-gallon over there we use for this type of work. Or a gun, you want to do this at home. Headliner carpet adhesive. This is a Permatex brand. You can buy it in a 3M brand, but this is like 3 times more expensive. That's what 3M stands for. 3 times more. You're probably going to use 2 cans for a small car. And then we like to use the Super 77 for smaller trim. Areas like the B-pillars by the windshield, those get reupholstered, and we usually strip the material and use just the cloth side of it. We don't like to use the foam. So, again, good stuff, better stuff, for some stuff, and then the best stuff right there. Okay, we just sprayed the underside. You can see how much material I have on either side here. I just trim it. Most of it goes in the garbage. But a lot of it on the other side where it's hanging a lot, we can save and use for A-pillars, B-pillars, any little thing like that. So, Volkswagen Mk6 on up. This is a pain in the butt. So what they do is they use these little clips here, which I actually removed. Those are just the holders there. Here are the clips. Doop. Doop. Focus. That's a clip right there. That goes right there. You got to remove those in order to fold the material correctly, okay? Then you just take a screwdriver, pop them off. There's some pry tools you can use. But you want to do this, otherwise you won't be able to click them back in place. Also, don't forget that the material folds over, right? So you're gonna have all that junk right there, as well as right here, all the old material, the glue and foam, front there, and then along the back here. So this looks like it's still on there. It's already cleaned off, but don't forget, a lot of cars will have it in the back. That's the biggest mistake people do, is they don't clean the back of the headliner. And then when they go to fold it over, guess what? That crap is just gonna come off with the glue, and then it's not gonna be a good job. So that's it right there. You see all that material right there? All that I'm gonna trim right now. I'm gonna go around the whole car and trim it, or on the whole headliner, I should say, and then we can fold it over. So we got it trimmed. Now here is where it can look like doo-doo if you have a sunroof. You wanna come up here, and if you look where the old material used to be, all this stuff here, that's where the factory would cut it and fold it over. Let's call them chicken feet. So cut your chicken feet, okay? Or you can call it crow's feet, whatever. And those we're gonna fold over. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna tuck in nice all around it. And it's gonna look nice. It's gonna look really nice. So without a whole lot of pressure, you don't need to like stretch this like crazy. When it comes to the edges, you might a little bit, but let me see if I can put the camera down and get this going for you guys. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna pull. I like to do the front and the back first. You don't have to. Have a razor blade in hand. You can see we may have to cut another slit over here just to release the tension. Another one over here, and then work your way in. Don't go all the way to the edge, because then you're going to have a problem with the material shrinking. So what I like to do is, once I get it kind of right there, I like to pull it and just stretch it over. And it's going to rip and tear a little bit, but as long as you have that lip on the top nice and clean, you're okay. Now, what a lot of people do, which is a mistake, is they'll pull and push down like this. Then what you're going to do is having a wavy headliner. So just give it a nice even pull like that, and then just glue it in the backside, okay? That's all you gotta do. Same thing up here. And if you set the glue right, and you let it wait, you let it, you let it flash, dry, whatever you want to call it, this stuff will stick and it'll be almost next to impossible to pull off. So it should stick just fine for you. Make sure there's no creases or anything there. Pull that over, something over here. Pull that around. Boom, done. Then we can trim that and be all right. Okay. Trim it here. Yep, my razor blade's going dull. I've actually only used a couple razor blades on this job. Usually I end up using 4 or 5, up to 10. It's not bad. All right, we're almost there. So this is to make or break a good job, is to stretch this material correctly and be able to look factory once it's up in the car. You take your clips. Again, this is just for this model vehicle, for Jetta, Volkswagen, any Passat, anything MK 5 on up, meaning I think what, 2005 on up? Can't remember, I'm not a Volkswagen guy. They started using these clips. So throw them back in, clip them back in, and you'll be all right. But most cars aren't this complicated. Most cars they have like a piece of trim around the headliner, kind of like a seal, I guess you could say, and that holds it up perfectly fine. I don't know why Volkswagen decided to over-engineer this. Hold it there, but they did. We were doing these for the local dealerships for a while because they didn't want to mess with them, and everybody that would do headliner job for them would come back looking pretty ugly. So we used to do a lot of headliners. That's when we were a mobile business. Now that we have a shop, we rarely get out to our to the dealerships anymore. So they bring them to us now. Okay, that's done. I'll flip it over here. Now, this is why we flip it over, because once we tuck this around, and if we did it upside down and you rolled it over and you get a crease up here, you wouldn't see it, and then you're gonna have to pull it and it's a pain in the ass. So run your hand across it, your fingers around it, and you tuck it, and that's all you gotta do. Okay guys, there you go. Pretty much all set. Now, what we gotta do, we got to cut out the hole for the rear dome light, cut the holes out for the grab handles, cut the sun visor. That's for the sun visor, that's for the makeup light deal. The clips there, we're all set. So, you ask, well, how do we know where to cut? All right, look, here you can kind of see the outline of the light, okay? So what I like to do is kind of feel for the edge, make a little incision like that, another one on the other side, same thing over here, same thing over here, and then you can kind of push it down in there and kind of get an idea of where it is. You don't want to cut too much. Again, you want to leave yourself enough to mess up on. If you do mess up, oh, where's this thing coming from now? Okay, where's that? There we go. Okay, plug doesn't want to come out. There it is. Okay. Again, leave yourself some material to work with here. You don't have to make it perfect right away. You can come back and cut and trim whatever you got to cut and trim later on. Okay. Now, there's the blade's getting a little dull again. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Nice. There we go. So now that light should drop right in. Let's see. Plug it in first. See if I can do this with one hand. Okay. Plugged in. These just tuck in there. Right there. Click down. Little click right there. Little dip right there. Man, too easy, guys. Oh, messed it up. Spoke too soon there. Let me pull this up. Tuck that cable back in there. There we go. Now we're talking. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, here's my other trick. You can flip this thing around. You can cut the holes, these little holes, from the outside, or from the inside, I should say. What I like to do is I like to grab a flashlight or the phone, the light on my phone, go from the rear, and it gives you perfect silhouette. Look at that fancy word. Silhouette of what you need to cut, which is really cool. If it's a sunny day outside and you got the doors open, lift it up against the sun, you'll get the same effect. But you know where to cut this way if you need to see. Okay, now this is going to be interesting doing this. I might have to put the phone down here. for the light. And let's do this. Let's put the light on the ground. And we should be able to, there it is. So you don't want to cut a hole as big as that, because if the sun visor trim doesn't cover it, then you're gonna have holes on either side. So what I like to do, let me zoom out here, is just make a little X. Okay, that's all you need. Just a happy little X, just like that. Boom, done. So you're guaranteed you're never gonna mess that up. Do this one now. You're never gonna cut too short here if you do it this way. Bam, done. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oop. There we go. Again here, just a little trim. You don't have to cut the whole thing. It's stretched as well, so if you cut it too big, it's going to actually open up more than you want it to. And then again, man, you want to do this right, and you want to make sure that it looks as professional as you can make it. Even if you're going to do it yourself, you can do it. There we go. Beautiful. That's all you need. Just enough for the handle to go in there. The handle's going to stretch out the material and make its way through anyway. If it doesn't, you can take a little bit of the razor and cut it a little bit more. Boom shakalaka. Look at that, man. I'm aging myself. Boom shakalaka. Lights are in. See how I just trimmed it just like that? It fits right in. Boom. Beautiful. Look at that. That's factory fresh, man. Same thing over here. Cut these out. I actually cut these out in squares because they're pretty big. Look how that goes over that anyway. That's what I did there. Look at that. Beautiful. Again, leave yourself some material to work with. You don't have to cut everything perfectly, okay? And when you tuck it around, the backside doesn't have to look very clean. You can make it clean as you want. That is how you do an Mk6 Volkswagen Golf GTI headliner in ebony black. Guys, thanks for watching. This was a lot of fun, and I'm trying to figure out where the camera is. There we go. I don't do a whole lot of these. A lot of fun doing this project. I'm going to start putting up some more videos of some of the things we're doing in here. Again, let's see here. There's a headliner. We just painted, wrong way, half that car there. Nasty paint job on the front, the back. Anyway, we're painting this guy right here. So we do all kinds of stuff. We don't just do headliners, we do metal work. Right there on that Scout. We painted this little Fiat in our shop truck. Boom. Hit me up if you want to buy that thing. It's for sale. It's a beautiful 1987 Land Rover 110. It's not a Defender. Defenders are 92 and up, but you can call it a Defender. A little bit more of what we did. Painted some stuff on that little guy. We did some blackout trim. Where am I? There we go. Trying to point. Blah, blah. Black grill. Black trim down there on the sides. Anyway. So, we do a lot of cool stuff. Collision, restorations, interiors, you can see. Wheel repair. I'll do some videos on repairing wheels. Yeah, just about everything. How to texturize texturized plastic bits. So sign up, hit a like button, and yeah, we'll see you guys.